That's me in the suit. My name's Brandon. I work for the Medeiros family. I drive across 6 states introducing people to Cabanacon, Soneros, Serrano, and the almighty HR. The point behind Stickman is to show you some places that are truly special, or truly off the beaten path, or maybe just have somebody that you really need to meet. This is Stickman. There's less than a dozen stores in the entire state of Texas in which you can get a drink and have a cigar at the same time. Right now we're out here at Michael's Tobacco of Eules. Eules is right between Dallas and Fort Worth here in Texas. Welcome to Stickman. I'm Brandon Holsworth. Mike Peacock is at the helm here at Michael's Tobacco in Eules, Texas. He is a southern gentleman at its finest. Great conversationalist and a really funny guy. You open up that door, 9 times out of 10, Mike's there waiting to greet you and say hello. As soon as you pick out your cigar, you're going to have the seat at one of those really plush, really comfortable couches. Ventilation systems are top-notch. You're never going to be gasping for breath, as it's always clean as a whistle in the air in here. Now, when you come into the humidor, you are going to have a massive selection of cigars. You're going to have all your low-end, your bundles. You're going to work your way through the flavors. You're going to have your premiums, your super premiums, your super duper premiums. And as you look above the top, you see they have a massive amount of backstock. Once again, world-class tobacconist. Super clean, well lit, well humidified, temperature controlled, and everything, all of the facings are right up front and easy to find. In Texas, we're really blessed with the fact that most everybody has a really large walk-in humidor. A lot of folks have a tremendous amount of backstock. But it's the guys here at Michael's Tobacco of Eules that truly make this place special. You're going to have Jason Fields and Tracy Spence, 2 of the most knowledgeable humidor masters in my entire territory. I don't even try to compete with these guys when it comes to, testing each other's cigar kung fu magic. These guys know more than I will ever know. And when it comes to any of the selections in this place, they can tell you exactly what's going to fit in your hand because they remember what you had the last time that you were in. So you take the little hallway, walk down that little hallway, and you get to the back and you realize there's an amazing, comfortable bar set up back here. Great selection of craft, domestic beers, all kinds of liquors, and wine. Large screen TV on the wall, exceptionally comfortable, very, very spacious. The size of the bar in the back is another added bonus to this place, because when you do events and you have all of this space in the back, you're not all cramped like cattle up in the front. You can move around. Michael's Tobacco of Eules throws some hellacious events. Michael's Tobacco of Keller is the second location. Now we're out here at 750 South Main Street in Keller. As you pull up, you see that bright red sign that says Cigars. As you walk up to the building, you're going to see that covered patio. And here in the great state of Texas, a covered patio means everything. You're going to avoid all that bright sun and that occasional downpour of Texas rain. Exceptionally comfortable, large, and spacious. So we're going to head on inside and I'm going to show you this great location out here in Keller, Texas. In the summertime in Texas, it gets hot, real hot. So as you walk in, that nice cool breeze from the place hits you. Air is exceptionally clean in here. Mr. Peacock spared no expense on getting a great ventilation system. So you're going to have clean air, exceptionally comfortable couches and a sitting area to the left with that massive screen TV. To the right, as you walk over, you're going to notice off the beaten path, you're going to have a nice little sitting area for about 4 people. So if you're wanting to chill out, not be in the bullpen taking part in the big conversations that are always going on, you're going to be able to relax a little bit. As I always say, world-class tobacconists, the humidor has to be clean, well lit, temperature controlled. All the cigars have to be well presented and easy to find. As you walk into the humidor here at Michael's Tobacco in Keller, you notice all that criteria is met. Ton of different selections. Nothing repeats itself as always. And then you've got Austin and you got Kevin. And these 2 guys know this inventory like nobody's business. So if you don't know what you're looking for, these guys can help you any which way. So we get into the bar here at Michael's Tobacco of Keller and you realize there's a good amount of space. There's a great feel. It has that homey feel to it. So when you walk in, you feel like it's your regular pub. As far as the beverage selection, you have a plethora of drinks. You got a great selection of beer, domestic, craft, a great selection of alcohols, wines. And something that I love about Texans is they love to support other Texans. So when you walk in, you're going to notice they have a great selection of beers from here in Texas, craft and domestic, and the same goes with the alcohols. Great selection on both wine and liquor. All right, we're out here today at Michael's Tobacco of Keller. I'm sitting with two gentlemen I hold with the highest respect, Bobby and Mr. Mike Peacock. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. It means quite a bit to me.
Our pleasure. Yeah.
What exactly got you into this industry? You know, I ask everybody that question. You know, we all had lives before we joined this industry and pretty much sacrificed the rest of our lives to it. What exactly did you all do before, you know, you decided that the cigar life was for you?
Well, I got into this industry after teaching for 4 years, taught middle school choir, and I really was just tired of dealing with the parents. They caused a lot of the problems, most of the problems in my life when I was teaching. I was fortunate enough to have family ties to the industry with our Eules location, and I was able to join the company and talk Dad into letting me open a second store as long as it met a bunch of our criteria, such as being able to have a bar, keep our business model whole, allow us to smoke and not give us really any hassle outside of the normal wear and tear, I'll call it, of owning a store.
My story of getting in the cigar business is kind of an interesting one. I was in the cast metals industry all of my life. Had a manufacturer's rep group for roughly 35 years where I traveled. Toward the end of that career, I was thinking about retirement. A small cigar store opened up near my home. I started hanging out there. It's obvious these guys weren't going to make it. Was talking with the owner one night. He was very upset that he was losing money, he had debt, etc., and he didn't know what to do. I recommended that he sell it. He told me that, well, I can't sell it because it's not worth anything. And this is where I stuck my foot in my mouth. I said, well, if it's not worth anything, I'll buy it. So that's how I got in the cigar business.
With your two stores, you know, you walk in at both stores, you have guys that work for you that are just awesome. You know, you have Austin and Kevin over here, and then at the Eules store you have Tracy, Jason. I've gone into other stores and had store owners tell me that they wish they had staff like you do with this company. How do you go about picking out the people that actually come? How do you find these amazing folks?
When I bought that store, as I said earlier, it was going downhill. The owner had a poor attitude. All the employees followed him with a bad attitude. The place was dirty. They were rude to customers, did not take care of customers. As a customer, I got to view all of this and see what was going on. So when I bought it, I basically fired everybody that worked there, except for one employee, that was Tracy. We had a conference and decided we were going to start from scratch. We went outside to find a buyer or an employee that had some experience in the industry, not only buying, but knew what was hot, what would sell, what wouldn't. We went outside, we were able to hire him. That would be Jason. He's still with us after 9 years. Tracy, my original employee, has been with us for 9 years. We've hired a number of people since then that have stuck with us. I don't believe we've lost a full-time employee since we opened. Sure, we've got good inventory, we've got clean stores, we've got the alcohol that you mentioned, but the key to our business is customer service and treating every customer that comes through that door, whether he's buying a bundle cigar or a $5,000 humidor, the same way. We treat them all like customers, and people appreciate that. They like the attention.
You know, with events, there's a lot of places that they go overboard on events. And the events that I've been here, I've done events with y'all, with different companies. You know, the events seem to be done a little bit differently here. You know, when it comes to the events, what is it that you're trying to do with a lot of the events that I've seen? Because a lot of them are a lot different than any other places that I've been.
For us, the best thing for us to do is actually do one event a month. Now that we have 2 stores, it's 1 event per store per month. It just gives everybody the best opportunity to try the cigars that we have available for the event. So we have our events booked out long in advance. We don't rush to get them done. We're weekly approached by vendors. We try and fit as many of them as we can in a year, but we only have a certain amount of spaces due to our criteria. We don't only have events with the largest names that are known by everybody. There's so many good cigars out there from small companies that it helps our store and it helps the industry to be able to try new cigars. Our goal is to get a new cigar in a customer's mouth, allow them to try something they've never had before, hopefully fall in love with it so that this industry is stronger.
Well, gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for sitting down with me. It is always a pleasure to have your company, especially getting both of you guys at the same time. Very much appreciated. Just wanted to say thank you again. And if you'd like to see more great cigar shops like this one, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Cigar Holdsworth. And once again, this was Stickman.